You've talked about putting pay in people's pockets as a result of what's going to happen in the first 100 days as a Labour government. How on earth do you do that? I mean, it's quite a claim.
It's not really. I mean, it's just a common sense bread and butter policy, fully costed in our grey book, because people have been held back by cuts, by austerity for too long. As I said, it's actually the case that wages in real terms are lower than they were 10 years ago. People are feeling that in their pockets, so it not only affects their standard of living, it also reduces the amount of consumer spending, which also affects businesses as well, both small businesses and larger businesses. So it's morally the right thing to do, but also it's good economic sense, and it will help to boost the economy. And people, to be honest, deserve better than a decade of Conservative cuts.
I mean, obviously, you're talking about kicking off the nationalisation scheme pretty much straight away. That's going to actually be a very long and complex and legally wrangled process, isn't it?
Well, it shouldn't be. Of course, I know people like Richard Branson have taken the NHS to court before when he didn't get lucrative contracts that Virgin were after. We'll have the best lawyers on the job, don't worry about it. But at the end of the day, we've got to act upon the democratic mandate of the people. When a Labour government is elected, we'll be elected for the common sense policies of taking rail, mail and water back into public ownership. Of course, it may be the case that some businessmen or corporations are upset about that and try and bring legal cases. That's the way the world works. We're confident that we would beat them in any legal case. But in any event, they would be compensated at a level decided by Parliament.
Yeah, isn't the EU going to be unhappy if we're still in the EU when this happens? And I think you, along with most of the shadow cabinet, are Remainers. It breaks some of the competition laws, doesn't it, if you don't allow any private competition in these areas?
There's nothing in Labour's manifesto which is contrary to EU law, but in any event, all we're doing really is taking to public ownership sectors of the economy, I say rail, mail and water, which in many of our European neighbours' countries are in public ownership anyway. There's actually nothing particularly radical about this. It's common sense, and it's all about getting our public services back up to the level of other countries in Europe, because if other countries can do it, I don't see why we should. I don't see why we should be the poor relation of people and public services just across the channel.